WOWO host Pat Miller and Ronald Reagan ruined Marlin Stutzman's Senate run. Upon election in 2010, Marlin Stutzman served as a Republican congressman representing Indiana's 3rd District in the United States House of Representatives until January 3, 2017. Stutzman ran for the U.S. Senate seat vacated by Republican Dan Coates in 2016. He lost the Republican Party nomination to Todd Young, Indiana's former 9th District representative in the U.S. House. Todd Young won the Senate seat in November's election. Marlin Stutzman may have lost trust and popularity among Indiana voters due to a controversial 2015 family vacation in California that gained notoriety from involvement by Marlin's friend Pat Miller, a Fort Wayne, Indiana radio show host at WOWO-AM. Pat Miller hosted a commercial vacation tour in California for Indiana-based Edgerton Travel that took place during the Stutzman family trip. On August 26, 2016, the Office of Congressional Ethics sent a report about Representative Marlin Stutzman to the Committee on Ethics of the U.S. House of Representatives. The OCE board recommended the Committee on Ethics further review the allegation that Marlin Stutzman used campaign funds for personal purposes, as there is substantial reason to believe that campaign funds were used to pay for a personal family trip to California. According to the OCE report, Stutzman used funds from his Senate campaign committee to pay for his family's airfare and a rental vehicle at a cost totaling $3,171.45. The Office of Congressional Ethics Review number 16-3645 says from August 12 to August 17, 2015, Representative Marlin Stutzman, his spouse, and his 2 children traveled to Los Angeles, California, where they met 2 family friends, the pastor of the church the family attends in Virginia and the pastor's wife. The family friends joined the Stutzman family for many of the events during the trip, including a dinner with individuals associated with the Hallmark Channel, a tour of Capitol Records, Pat Miller's tour of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, and a tour of the Reagan Ranch, the OCE report says. During an interview on June 23, 2016, Stutzman told the OCE that the idea for the California trip was first discussed in October or November 2014 in the context of a tour to be organized and hosted by Pat Miller, a radio talk show host in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Marlin Stutzman says Pat Miller, who is a talk show radio host in the district in Fort Wayne, Indiana, with a large radio station there, had approached us. He was setting up a trip, like a lot of regular personalities do, taking his listeners to California. He approached me about possibly going along. Edgerton Travel, the company that organized and marketed Pat Miller's California trip, says Pat Miller is the self-proclaimed ever-righteous mound of conservative sound. Husband, father, choir director, Bible teacher, insurance and financial planner, and a popular MC and keynote speaker. He is also the voice of the Pat Miller program, weekdays on radio station WOWO 1190 AM during the 3 to 6 p.m. drive time hours. There was a group of constituents brought there by a radio host on a trip that was, I think, themed something like American exceptionalism and had something to do with Ronald Reagan. Stutzman former Chief of Staff John Hammond told the OCE. After Stutzman's Chief of Staff consulted with the Committee on Ethics about the proposed California tour with Pat Miller, Stutzman concluded that his name could not be used in advertising or promoting Miller's trip, the report says. Stutzman, however, remained interested in joining Pat Miller and the tour group in California. Marlin Stutzman said, "We're good friends. He's a conservative talk show host. He wants me on his program. I'm on his show frequently." The OCE says it appears that a political trip was then built around the WOWO-AM personalities tour. Marlin Stutzman says, "We set up a trip for Christy and I and the boys, a fundraising trip, campaign-related, also overlapped with this trip that Pat Miller was doing." During a June 22, 2016 interview with the Office of Congressional Ethics, Marlin's wife, Christy Stutzman, offers reasons for the family's California trip. "Instead of maybe doing a separate meeting down the road with my connections in California, maybe we can combine them into one trip," Christy Stutzman said. "If we can combine them into one trip, my connections and then his connections, we could Not just that, but if there was a chance, we could overlap with the Pat Miller and meet them as well and have the family there, and it would be a lot of things taken care of in one thing. While in California, Christy Stutzman referred to the trip as a family vacation, posting a photograph of her children to her Facebook account with the caption, "Great trip to the Reagan Library for our family vacation," teaching these two about the great Ronald Reagan and the Reagan Revolution. After the California trip, Representative Stutzman received an invoice from Edgerton Travel, the travel agency that organized the Pat Miller California tour, for the cost of 6 dinners aboard the Queen Mary and 6 tours of the Reagan Library, totaling $712.50. Representative Stutzman first asked his Chief of Staff, John Hammond, to see if his Senate campaign could pay the invoice. Hammond forwarded Stutzman's request to former campaign manager Brendan Del Toro, which led to this exchange of emails. Marlin asked me to ask if the campaign could reimburse this invoice. There was a boat dinner he enjoyed with fellow Hoosiers while he was in California on a political trip. Please advise. How is this at all a campaign expense? Taking the family to the Reagan Library? He had me ask. I didn't know anything about it until I received the invoice in the mail. If the campaign treasurer says we cannot do it, he will pay. Just the messenger. My anger is not directed at you. This is ridiculous, though. We have a spending and revenue problem. Stutzman former campaign manager Brendan Del Toro told the OCE that he believed it was not appropriate for the campaign to pay for the Stutzman family and friends Queen Mary dinner and the Reagan Library visit associated with the Pat Miller tour. Del Toro explained that he did not believe the presence of Hoosiers at the events made them political activity. Despite Stutzman's belief that his Senate campaign could pay for the dinner and the tour, Stutzman eventually used his own money to pay for the Queen Mary dinner and Reagan Library tour hosted by Pat Miller after Stutzman's staff suggested he do so. Activities that Stutzman described as having a campaign purpose, such as the dinner with Christie's acquaintances from the Hallmark Channel and a lunch with a Hallmark TV show producer, appear to have had only incidental, if any, benefit to his campaign, according to the OCE report. Stutzman says his family and friends stayed at the home of communications consultant Frank Luntz during the California trip, with no expenses associated with the lodging arrangement. According to the OCE report, Representative Stutzman used funds from his Senate campaign committee to pay for the family's airfare and rental vehicle. Stutzman's Senate campaign paid for his family's airfare at a cost of $2,024.80. Stutzman's Senate campaign paid $1,146.65 for a vehicle rental. The OCE report says in April 2016, a member of the media began inquiring about Stutzman's August 2015 trip to California. Representative Stutzman said that after the reporter began asking questions about the trip, his staff recommended that he reimburse the campaign for certain trip expenses, but he disagreed with that recommendation. I did not believe that I should have paid for those flights personally because it was a campaign trip. I did pay them back out of the abundance of caution, but I still don't believe that I would have needed to do that, Stutzman told the OCE. We did do it trying to prevent a story. Chief of Staff John Hammond says at the time of the reporter's questions, Stutzman made the decision to reimburse the campaign, potentially in an attempt to kill the story, not because he was told what he had to do legally. On or around April 13, 2016, Representative Stutzman reimbursed his campaign for the cost of the airfare for his spouse and children in the amount of $1,518. Marlin Stutzman lost valuable trust and enduring popularity among Indiana voters in 2016 because he played the roles of Congressman Marlin Stutzman, Senate candidate Marlin Stutzman, and Marlin Stutzman Family Man during a 2015 family vacation in California while calling it campaigning. The Office of Congressional Ethics report indicates that Stutzman's 2015 California vacation began as an idea for a commercial tour featuring the congressman and his political public relations friend, Pat Miller, the host of the Pat Miller program on WOWO-AM in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fond, patriotic memories of President Ronald Reagan notwithstanding, Pat Miller's California Dream Tour with Representative Marlin Stutzman effectively destroyed the congressman's political career. Despite that bracing fact, Stutzman and Miller remain good friends. During a December 2016 broadcast of the Pat Miller program on WOWO-AM, Marlin Stutzman said he watched the Chicago Cubs World Series final game victory at Pat Miller's house. Now that is friendship. That's Hoosier hospitality. That's American exceptionalism.